Welcome to BDSM. Bloody, dreadful, shite, movies.
This is Chris.
Hello there.
And some people say he has questionable taste in movies. So he's on a mission to see if this is true. By watching the most painfully bad movies he can find and try to enjoy them. He'll be scoring each movie based on 5 categories. 1. Did he find it entertaining in any way? 2. Did it have a good story idea? 3. Was it boring? 4. Will he ever watch it again? 5. Would he recommend anyone else to watch it?
Hello and welcome back to the BDSM Cinematic Dungeon. Don't mind the noise, I've got a group in enjoying a San Francisco steam train while watching Death Train.
It's been one hell of a conga line, Daisy.
So, before I journey into the low-budget future, it's time for Cinematic Confessions.
Forgive me, Father, for this is bullshit.
I am not a fan of Daniel Craig's Bond movies.
You missed Mr. Bond. Did I?
I love watching a good Bond, but Daniel Craig's don't really feel like Bond movies. They have the same ingredients, but just not in the right proportions. And they start off well, but go downhill quite quickly. I know, I'll do a quick review of them. Casino Royale! It's a good start for a reboot of a franchise, but it's more Bourne than Bond. Quantum of Solace. It has a good opening, that car chase is amazing. It's very lackluster, and doesn't have a great villain. Even though you could make it slightly better if you watch Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace back to back. Skyfall. I enjoyed Skyfall, but the Home Alone ending really lets it down.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Spectre. The story is overbloated. Christoph Waltz's Blofeld is being Bond's long-lost foster brother is very silly. No Time to Die. This is my least favourite Daniel Craig Bond, and it's nothing to do with the ending. It has one of the worst villains ever. It's like you ordered Dr. No off Wish, but I still watch them, on a rainy bank holiday weekend. And also, my least favourite Bond of all time is Pierce Brosnan. And you know why? For his bloody hurt acting.
Then maybe you shouldn't be living here!
Oh well.
Now say 3 Hail Marys and 4 Our Fathers.
If you would like to share your cinematic confessions, you can email the BDSM Dungeon at bdsmpodmovie@gmail.com and wash away your cinematic sins.
Well, 007, how did you come to ruin this little beauty? And where exactly is the rest of this? And I suppose you can explain this.
Oh, James.
It's not easy being Bond on Nintendo, GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2. Rated T for teen.
So, let's get down to the main event. This week, I'm having a revisit of 1987's Time Guardian, which I haven't seen since I was at school.
You old cunt.
It stars Tom Burlington, Dean Stockwell and Carrie Fisher. It had a budget of $8 million Australian dollars and grossed worldwide a grand total of £12,000.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
So, you know what this means? I'll probably love it, because I do love a good box office flop. It has a runtime of 1 hour 27 minutes, and the plot is...
A time-traveling city is under attack by cyborg robots in the year 4039. It travels back in time while sending 2 troopers in advance to the Australian desert in the year 1988 to prepare for its arrival. But the enemy cyborgs manage to follow them.
And it has some great reviews like this.
Is it Star Wars, Daddy? Not quite, son, not quite. The Time Guardian is woeful and Tom Burlinson can get stuffed. Big names Carrie Fisher and Dean Stockwell in secondary and unmemorable performances, Star Trek outfits, poor acting, an awful script and horrible action sequences. Nikki Coghill's alright.
Incredibly disappointing. John Baxter is an absolutely brilliant short story writer and apparently a lifelong student of films, so I was very interested to see what his only screenplay was like. I simply could not believe that he came up with such a piece of total crap. There is nothing to recommend in this film.
What? Considering the fact that Carrie Fisher did this 6 years after Star Wars, I was expecting a lot more from her in this horrible movie. Her dialogue was flat and should be ranked right up there with the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, I do remember liking Time Guardians. Let's get into it, shall we?
For over 500 years, this city has been your mother. Now the city will be ours. This is not a skirmish. This is a war. We must have the city.
No. Petra's our 20th century expert.
Expert?
Goes, that's from the committee.
I come from the future, from a city that travels in time, and we can choose what time zone we want to appear in. Right now, it should be around the end of the 32nd century. It's coming back in time.
What really happens when the city lands?
There's going to be a battle. Out there. Soon.
These Jendiki, are they human?
Only by a stretch of the imagination.
And what about you? Are you human?
Back up the line, they're still discussing that.
Form the triangle. Storm the city. Destroy the wall.
Time Guardian.
That wasn't as cheesy as I remember. It had a little bit less action, I thought. I sort of remember cyborgs running around the Australian outback, battling the humans. But I'm probably just getting confused with the thousands of other 80s movies I've watched in my time. Tom Burlington isn't the greatest leading man. He's basically angry for 90% of the time, and then for the other 10% he's just trying to get in Nikki Coghill's pants. As for Carrie Fisher, she's not as wooden as all the other reviewers say. She's just mostly complaining about Tom being so pissing angry all the time. And talking of angry, everybody in the Australian outback, apart from the Aborigines, is one angry cunt. The policeman, everybody. So let's judge this cinematic treat.
All rise. Criminal Court Part 2 is now in session. The Honorable Harold T. Stone presiding. Amen.
1. Did I find it entertaining in any way? I had a fairly good time watching it. It's basically a cheap and cheerful sci-fi romp with some good little ideas in there. Has some fun moments. And I'm quite surprised it hasn't really got a cult status. You never really hear much about it. So, I'm going to give it a point. 2. Did it have a good story idea? The story is basically a rip-off of the Terminator, with an added twist of a time-travelling city. If you think of it right, the story is, in the future, mankind is being attacked by cyborgs, and they have to travel back in time to get away from them. But instead of like one person to save the rest of humanity, it's the whole city. They do go back in time with the main guy, and he finds this woman. And it's basically almost like Sarah Connor, except she's not really important to the future, like Sarah Connor is. Other than that, it's not bad. If it had a better leading actor, and maybe a bigger budget, better writer, it could be a brilliant story. And I'm going to give it a point, just for the twist alone of the time-travelling city. 3. Was it boring? It was a bit slower than I remember, but I wasn't bored. It cracked on at a fair old pace-ish. The wandering around the outback was a bit boring, but other than that, I'm going to give it a point. 4. Will I ever watch it again? I'd say, yeah, it's not too bad. I'll probably catch it if it's on telly on some rainy bank holiday weekend. For that, I'm going to give it a point. 5. Would I recommend anybody else to watch it? I'd say if you're a sci-fi fan and you like a bit of cheese. Then, if you come across it, watch it. There's worse things to watch. I'm giving it another point. So somehow, Time Guardians has got a score of 5 out of 5, making it a cinematic kink.
But since I have it on good authority, he's into some very kinky shit.
So, what shall I try and enjoy next time? A friend of mine, Rick Kelvington from kelvington.com, the home of the sci-fi mashup, has suggested I watch a Pinocchio movie. And not the Disney one, or the Netflix one, but 2022's Pinocchio, A True Story. And by some unlucky happenstance, I got hold of a copy of the DVD. The only thing I've heard about this, it's a horribly made cartoon and has some of the worst vocal performance by Polly Shaw.
Pinocchio! Father, when can I leave to be on my own? I've got the whole world to see.
Oh, God. Remind me why I do this to myself. So, see you next time.
If you would like to join Chris on his painful mission, then come and join the BDSM Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/BDS movies. Or you can contact the BDSM Dungeon by email bdsmpodmovie@gmail.com.